I'm on the trail of the Old Ghan rail route between Port Augusta and Alice Springs. My goal is to provide a visual record of as many of the sidings, fettlers cottages and other rail infrastructure that I can identify between those two places. Many of the places I've visited are accessible to any who have the means to get to them and are in close vicinity to the major road networks of the state of South Australia. Others are on private pastoral land, and I've sought and received permission to access them from the various landowners and or managers. In every case, I've been welcomed and have received the greatest hospitality from them, and I've been able to gain access to some wonderfully forgotten ruins that not many people get to see. Previously, in episode 3, we visited Edowie Siding, Ratchina Siding, a Commodore Fettler's Cottage, Parachilna Station, some Fettlers cottages 10 kilometres north of Parachilna, Nilpena Siding, another unnamed Fettlers cottage, and Beltana Station. Stay with me now as we continue the journey and move further north along the Old Ghan line. Having left Beltana, the next stop is the Fettlers accommodation at Puttapa. This is the one that serviced the original Ghan. The siding was actually relocated after the 1956 realignment and standing gauge upgrade, but we won't be visiting that. Just before I arrived at Puttapa, I came across another domed concrete culvert, as opposed to the predominant metal ones. Okay, we're at Puttapa. It's blowing a howling gale, so you may not be able to hear this properly. Another Ghan siding right on the edge of the actual line. It runs just in front of it. We'll have a look at that in a second. Oh, that wind is horrendous. Oh, at least it keeps the flies away. The second of the two cottages has crumbled a little since I was last here in 2013, and now all that stands is the far corner. If we pan around, we'll see the line comes in just there, comes across the road, and goes down here. Well, good morning. It's Wednesday the 20th, day 3. I'm just leaving my campsite in a creek bed at the back of Puttapa Siding. We're heading towards Leigh Creek this morning. But just up the road here, when I get out of the creek, there's a railway bridge we might stop and have a look at and investigate another track, see if I can get a more interesting way to get to Leigh Creek rather than on the conventional road. This is not the conventional road, this is still the creek bed. The road is just here though. Such that it's only marginally better. Another glorious day. It's going to be whatever it's going to be, 30 plus I'd guess. The flies I've no doubt will be just as friendly. I managed to get everything done this morning, cooked a breakfast, washed up, put everything away, packed up, and got going before they arrived. They are here, they're buzzing around, there's still a few in the car, and you have to swat the odd one off your face, but nothing like the plague proportions I'll get to in an hour's time. Nice picturesque bit of track. Oh, a bit of a tank here. It's better to go through the creek. Oh, well, we're here now. Little roo just sitting there underneath that, in line of that tank just there. Should be visible. Well, probably not now. Let me get quite close, so I'd assume is not that weary of cars. Either he doesn't see too many or they never bother him. And there's abutment, the bridge is gone. It used to go across this gap. I love the stonework of them. This track here. Goes nowhere but here, but you can see the line, the Old Ghan there, through that cutting up ahead. I'm not going to try and follow it for fairly obvious reasons. So we're back out of here and slightly head towards Leigh Creek. Before we get there, I thought I'd have a look at something that I consider worthy of note in the Old Ghan story. This is a somewhat interesting point on the line. This embankment I'm scrambling up. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Just. is the one that goes, or used to go, to the Leigh Creek coal mine. And the Old Ghan is just over here, there. And they sort of come together up here. The old meets the new, which is fast becoming old. When the Greens and Labour, bless their cotton socks, changed our world, killed off all our power stations and stopped coal being mined, this whole train line became completely defunct. Actually, the tracks don't meet, they cross over. The Old Ghan chugs in there and crosses over and heads off in that direction. Around Leigh Creek, I can't go looking for any sidings or anything of the train line. The whole thing's been swallowed up by the Leigh Creek open cut coal mine. Even though it's no longer being used, you still can't get access to it for obvious reasons. Okay, so this is the crossing point. Yeah. I'll get in the car, that road is trafficable. I'll drive up here and we'll have a close look from the other side. I would absolutely love to do a slow trip by steam train along the track we've been following. I reckon that'd be a gorgeous route. I fear that's a dream that'll never come true though, but it's way beyond anyone's cost to resurrect it. From the other side, just looking back, the old bridge and the new bridge after the crossing point. Let's hope it stands up for another few minutes at least. Those rotting boards underneath it tell a different story. I want to come back to the crossing point and mark it on my GPS. If you want a collection of spikes, there they are down there. Some great firewood out of the sleepers, well seasoned. And you're right at this point right here. there. Just realised something about this old bridge. All the steel panels, half-inch steel panels that were in the sides of it have all been gas axed out. Somebody obviously had a use for a large chunk of iron. They've left the two at the back there, but all the rest are gone. There you go. Here's something else that I found interesting about the whole affair. I'm presently at the top westerly corner of the Leigh Creek Airport. And it's there, you're looking straight at it. You can't see it through the bushes though, but trust me, it's there. Leigh Creek as a township had to be moved when they wanted to develop the mine further. So, in the years between 1978 and 1982, the whole town of Leigh Creek was moved 13 kilometres south. Presumably, they also built this new airstrip. And the new airstrip had the Old Ghan chug all the way through it. And this is where it comes out, on the northern end of it. Down here. And heads off there. There's the line of the Old Ghan. It went straight through. In fact, if you followed this all the way back there, you would come to the intersection of the two runways. So, fairly obviously, they couldn't have a train line through there. But by 1956, the Ghan had already been relocated some 2 kilometres west, near the present-day highway. So there you are. The Old Ghan goes through what is now an airport. I noticed that that's a road with a vehicle track worn into it. I might trundle down there and see how far I can get. The satellite image I have of this thing shows it goes all the way through to Copley. So I wonder what the chances of that are, provided I'm not don't fall foul of any culvert crossing that can't be negotiated. See how far we get. It would be interesting to try and turn around if I can't go forward. Imagine we're an old steam train. All was going swimmingly until I reached this creek washaway. Well, you can get through. It's a bit of a rough track, and not many people have been here recently. Might have to give this a miss. Could get horribly bamboozled in here. I can see where the track should be, but getting to it's no mean feat. No, I'm going to call it quits. We followed the line for a little way at least. My tyre tracks will suck someone else in perhaps. Okay, back to the airstrip and up to Copley, which used to be Leigh Creek. We're now in Copley, heading towards that railway station over there. I'm on the wrong side of the line, of course. There was a monument down here. I thought that might be perhaps too ago, but it's heading off in that direction according to that brown arrow, so we're not going down there. I might just park here and walk around a bit. Well, there's definite proof, if you ever needed it, that steam trains once operated here. There would have been a tank somewhere around here. It's obviously long gone now though. Neither of these gauges here are Ghan sized, that being narrow gauge, but that's to be expected when you realise that by 1957 all the railway lines from Port Augusta up as far as Maree were upgraded to standard gauge. As I've mentioned earlier, the Old Ghan started out life as a narrow gauge, which is 3 foot 6 inches wide. The wider standard gauge is 4 foot 8.5 inches. It's been a while since any flag was flown from it. And the sign certainly used to say Copley. Still does if you look very closely. The old railway station. Flies are still friendly, not as bad as they were, but they're still there. The old goods platform. And it's been a while since anyone needed to look out for trains. Just north of the siding, right on the southern border of the perimeter of the Leigh Creek coal mine, is an Old Ghan bridge that I thought was worthwhile having a look at. This is a bridge just on the edge of Copley, north of it. This is probably my last glimpse I'm going to get of the line until we get to Lyndhurst. From here it disappears into the bowels of the Leigh Creek coal mine. As I said, a huge open cut. It's just gouged the earth and I would assume swallowed the whole damn thing up. Sizable bridge. Again, the bridge provides the perfect comparison of the original narrow gauge of the Old Ghan alongside the 1956 upgraded standard one. Okay, I've just turned off the highway at Lyndhurst and are now on the Leigh track, heading towards where the Ghan crossed over this road and headed off to the Lyndhurst Siding. And this would be it. We're just coming to now. That raised earth mound going across my front. And it looks to be down Talc Alf's way. So yeah, the line is now off to our left, as you can see there by the culverts. There's some siding looking things over there. And there's the Lyndhurst Siding sign. That'll do me. Well, here we are at the end of this particular odyssey, to travel the Ghan from Port Augusta to Lyndhurst. There's not a lot here. There's Lyndhurst, the township in the background. There's the line of the Ghan that you're looking straight down now. There's a siding platform over there. The redoubtable Talc Alf over there. And nothing else. Some sleepers, and I imagine if you looked hard enough you'd find a dog spike or two. But that's all there is at Lyndhurst. At least it has a sign. That's a start. A little north from the platform, there's this really wide culvert. More than would be needed obviously for one line, so perhaps there's a couple of lines here for a passing loop or shunting lines or something. Again, who knows, I'm just surmising. Not your usual stonework, it's all concrete, this one. A few metres further north again, remains of some old sleepers. A bit of concrete work over here on the right. Looks like a loading ramp onto a a train platform that would have run right in front of it, I'd imagine. Drive up and load onto flatbeds. Okay, well that's pretty much it for Lyndhurst. Oh yeah, there's a proof of a rail line right in front of the loading platform. An old sleeper with a spike still in it. This is the platform at Lyndhurst. Again, lots of artefacts on the ground in the form of dog spikes and it's a metal rail memorabilia. You wouldn't waste your time with the metal detector here, it would just constantly be alarming. Well, that's the end of my exploration of the southern section of the Old Ghan Railway. We've travelled some 294 kilometres from Port Augusta to Lyndhurst, covering 22 of the 25 sidings, stations and fettlers cottages. We've also checked out a few significant examples of much of the old rail infrastructure in the forms of bridges, culverts and the remaining rail line. The next siding north of Lyndhurst is Farina. This is where we'll jump back into the time machine and return to earlier this year to pick up on our attempt to cover the Old Ghan route from Farina to the Northern Territory border.